Welcome CFS community to our innovation workshop, where we're going to be exploring fashion's new frontier, the Metaverse.
We are very thrilled to introduce the moderator for this panel, Norman Tan, Editor-in-Chief of Vogue Singapore. Norman, please take it away.
Hi everyone, welcome to Circular Fashion Summit for 2021. My name is Norman Tan, the Editor-in-Chief of Vogue Singapore, and we're here in the Grand Palais Éphémère in virtual reality. Today's innovation workshop is looking at fashion's new frontier entering the Metaverse, and I'm joined by 5 amazing panelists. So first up, we have Natalia, the founder of DressX, who is creating virtual fashion for social media. Jake Becker, the head of talent relations at Genies, who is bringing tastemakers to Web 3.0 through virtual identity and storytelling. We have Caden, the CEO and co-founder of Reverie AI, who has created a scalable virtual dressing room just for shoppers. And Michaela, the creative strategist and head of communications at The Fabricant, the world's first virtual-only fashion house. And last but not least, Eva, the creative director and co-founder of Material Experience Center, which uses machines and technology for material innovation. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you.
Great, thank you.
Great,
Thank you. Excited about the conversation.
It's such an international panel today because I'm dialing in from Singapore. We have people from Amsterdam, Chicago, LA, Shanghai, and today's topic is innovation. I mean, fashion is inherently creative and innovative, but let's dive right in. Innovation is always there to help solve real-world problems. So I wanted to start with you, Caden, from Reverie AI. I mean, tell us a little bit about your business and how are you tackling the problem of fit when it comes to shopping online?
Yeah, it's right now, as we could see, the world is changing, right? And people are really coming to shop digitally. So the shopping experience kind of has to change. So when people are shopping digitally, it's really often the trouble for them to find what items they want to buy, right? Because there's a lot of factors that tie to the person, like whether the garment fits, whether it fits into their style, like their body type and their skin tone. There's a lot of stuff. So what Reverie AI is creating is a virtual dressing room experience that helps people imagine how they would look in their best outfit, which in the simplest form is just show them like an image of how it would look on a model that looks like them. And eventually the model will become themselves. So you might have heard of this virtual dressing room idea hundreds of times, right? Tried by different companies, and you might wonder why is it still not out there? And there's really 2 key challenges. One is the scalability, that the dressing has to work with a majority of the items for the experience to make sense. And the other side is the quality. Like it has to be realistic enough for the shoppers to be appealed to the experience. Like they have to be able to imagine like themselves wearing the garment, not just through an avatar. So with Reverie, we really are tackling these 2 problems, which makes us something very interesting, aiming the huge demand from the market right now. And we are already working with a lot of large fashion retailers, including Zalora, which they have 1 million SKUs, and we were able to set them up entirely in 3 weeks. And we see people like being very engaged with the experience, and also like there's an increase in the conversion rate and a decrease in the return rate through our partners. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and we hope that you may be able to experience our product in the shopping platform that you normally go in the near future.
And I find that amazing. Like you're talking about an AI-driven algorithm, and you actually have the patent to an AI algorithm that you use with Reverie AI. You can actually work with an e-commerce platform and have their entire database virtually ready for an online shopping experience just in 3 weeks, right?
Exactly. And the magic is that we are able to work with their existing catalog image. So we don't require any complicated manual editing or 3D asset. We just take it and scan them automatically and digitize them.
And you were saying that you work with Zalora and it's helped reduce their return rates. Do you have any numbers in terms of how that's improved their return rates?
Yeah, so far, we observe a between 10 to 12% return rates decrease from our client, and that's before we even roll out the body shape, which we expect a huge increase once we roll out that feature.
Fantastic. On a similar note, I wanted to bring Eva into the conversation. Eva is from the Material Experience Center and is dialing from Shanghai. You have more than 20 years of experience in fabric innovation and working with companies to kind of re-engineer their processes. What are you doing at MEC, and how is that helping with closing that gap?
Yeah, thank you, Norman. Interesting, fantastic question. And what we really try to do in MAC is kind of create a space that is a space for inspiration, for innovation, a space where people really can come together. Because we feel innovation is about finding issues for solution, and in one hand unleashing creativity, making the possibility to make all these beautiful digital creations that people are making, but on the other hand also to showcase the reality. I really believe that everything we do should be considered and smart and functional. What we wear, what we use should be really enhancing the body and its experience. And this is what we really try to do within MAC, to really give the opportunity to develop new materials that are user-centric, that tie into the environment needs that we have today, and really a place where digital and physical can become reality.
Yeah, great. Could you actually share some visuals of what kind of fabric innovations you've been up to at MEC?
Absolutely. Yeah, let me share something. Yeah, so what I want to show here is a collaboration that we did with the Woolmar company, Suitwaller Group, and Studio Eva times Corolla. And here, this is really an example. The machine technology that we're working on, we see as a kind of digital printer. So what we do is really kind of a reverse process approach. So we build something really from the yarn and machinery up towards the needs of the end user and consumer. So we kind of grow, and you see in a moment the machine coming up. We grow really the garments pixel by pixel out of the machine to really kind of unleash the full potential that clothing can have from a smart, a considered, a functional, and a sustainable aspect. So really merging these worlds together and not working from a traditional approach of starting with the designs at first.
And it's something that you've called, cradle to cradle rather than cradle to grave, right? In the way you think about fabric innovation.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. For me, products can be all. It can be beauty, it can be functional, it can be sustainable. But most important, it should be made really from a cradle to cradle aspect. So something that's really tailored to that end user. What is this end user going to do with it? How are they going to wear it? How are we going to wash it? What are we going to do with it? And to really develop that from the bottom up in order to give that long-lasting and longevity that a product needs. I don't think we need more product. I think we need better product in the market.
Fantastic. So we've discussed kind of some real-world solutions, but I want to talk about some other companies that we have here on this call that are really fully digital in the way they're thinking. And someone that's really bridging that gap is Natalia from DressX. Welcome, Natalia. How are you?
Hi Norman. Hi everyone. It's great, and it's great to be in this company of people who really believe in the better future and more technological future for fashion industry, and working towards that.
Natalia, you're one of the co-founders of DressX, which you just started last year, and it's already gaining global attention in terms of what you're doing with digital fashion. Can you share a little bit more about your brand and how that's helping with sustainability?
For sure. So digital fashion is the new exciting world that opens up, and new exciting market that opens up. And there was a problem, and there is still a problem in traditional fashion industry. And this is what was driving me and my co-founder Daria to start DressX, so that there is a huge overproduction and overconsumption and overpollution caused by fashion industry. Plus, being in that world for a while, for a long time, we learned a lot from the retailers how much of the returns are happening, not only for the reason of wrong sizing or like late delivery and person doesn't need it anymore for event or something like that, but a lot of clothing is produced and consumed and delivered for the sake of content creation, for the sake of self-expression. And in that case, there is no need to produce the physical. And we believe that a lot of the needs can be satisfied with digital fashion in this case, and we can wear it in digital only. And that's how DressX started first. We also tried to find the data on the sustainability aspect of it, but there was no any. So we started the research, and the first person in the company was a chief sustainability officer to actually calculate true environmental impact of digital fashion, because there was some conversation that it's completely like green, completely clean and not polluting at all. But of course, we are using computers to develop it. We are using our smartphones to actually wear it. So we decided to go deeper and to calculate that. And this research is open for the community, for everyone. It's available on the DressX sustainability section. And we discovered that digital item is on average 97% less polluting in terms of the CO2 emissions compared to the physical. And it doesn't need any water in the production. So that's also a huge contribution towards more sustainable future and the goals of UN that we have for 2030 year. So that's the start. And I want to actually share with you some kind of possibilities of how digital fashion can be used now. And the recent project that actually gives an opportunity and the vision of democratizing fashion industry with digital fashion and making it more inclusive. So with a goal to give the digital closet to every person, we start from social media and dressing up people on their pictures and on their videos, and also making it more inclusive and giving an opportunity to actually wear something that you could see on the cover of the magazine before. Now it's all possible, and you can also be kind of on a cover of the magazine or wear the same item and have the self-perception of yourself and express yourself and share it with other people. So the recent Vogue Singapore cover with the couture Balenciaga dress that is now available for wearing in augmented reality for everyone. There were actually two covers, and Miso, he is a great designer we actually wanted to work with, creating absolutely beautiful items that also possible to wear in AR, create the videos and share it on social media. And that's how we bring the notion of the digital closet to every person, so they can collect it, they can populate it with the content that they create and share it with external world and with people around. Of course, there will be more use cases for digital fashion items, but now we are so engaged in digital world through the social media that we start from this point and dressing people. But maybe I'll stop here and we'll get to the other topics here.
Thanks, Natalia. I mean, we're so proud of this collaboration that we did together with our Chan cover. I think it's done so well for us. And what I love about what you guys do at DressX is that, you know, for example, like Gemma's wearing couture for those covers. Not everyone can fly to Paris and try and couture, but you can wear it, as you said, on social media. Is about democratizing fashion. And how many of us are guilty of buying a jacket or a dress just to take a picture on social media and we never wear it again? I mean, it's not a very sustainable approach to fashion. From DressX to the Fabricant, which is the world's first digital-only fashion house. And we have Michaela with us. Michaela, we've been talking about, when we had a chat earlier on, about a post-waste economy. Can you tell us about that and how you're pushing that forward at Fabricant?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, we're at the Circular Fashion Summit, so it makes sense to talk about this very important topic. In the physical world, obviously, circularity means keeping physical materials circling. So you kind of repair, reuse, recycle, and make sure that all materials are treated like gold. With digital fashion, obviously, there's no physicality, so we're not taking resources out of the ground. They never take physical form. So what we do in terms of digital fashion is considered part of the post-waste economy, sort of imagining a world in which there is no waste and how we can actually begin to iterate that, which is a really exciting possibility and only possible, of course, through technology. Right now, we're participating in an exhibition at the Design Museum in London that talks exactly about this topic. And it's innovators in sectors, all different sectors, including fashion. The Fabricant is obviously representing the fashion industry. And it's about how innovation is disrupting all these pre-existing narratives of waste to try and create a new, more positive future for people and planet, obviously.
Yeah, great. And I mean, I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing with Kerry and Amber at the Fabricant. Could you share with us some of the designs that you've created? And I know you've also started the Fabricant Studio. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how that's empowering your followers and the people that are connected to the Fabricant to create their own designs?
Absolutely. Let me begin to share, because obviously digital couture makes so much more sense when you see it visually. So as you said, the Fabricant Studio is a platform that we just launched very recently in September. And it's this idea of, again, of democratizing fashion creating, making anyone able to participate in creating digital fashion, regardless of their software knowledge. So users, when they come into the platform, can select blank garments, and then they can select from this array of digital fabrics that we created specially for the environment. So this is a piece that was minted as an NFT. By a user in the environment, and they chose this fabulous gold number, and it looks really great. Obviously, when something becomes an NFT, it can be traded and worn in the Metaverse, which is obviously a big part. Our pieces have to have utility, so you want to be able to wear them rather than just being very beautiful pictures. This is a garment from by a creator from Beijing called Mengxi Zhen. Again, Mengxi's piece was customized by a user with another digital fabric, as you can see here. Taskin is a creator from Germany who created this beautiful piece. Taskin actually won one of our challenges. We always gave away our patterns for free so anybody could remix our garments and kind of show us their iteration of what we do. And I think that's a really important aspect of digital fashion. There is no definitive iteration of a garment. You can remix and remix and remix again. And this is one by a creator called Idiat Shioli from Nigeria. And again, it's this idea that people can create fashion all over the world without having to go to these historic fashion centers, which is a big part of making a more equitable, more fair, kind of more even kind of fashion industry in which individual creators can participate alongside brands and maybe on a more equal footing than perhaps they could do historically. The last piece I'm going to show you isn't from the studio, but it is the amazing, oh, it isn't, sorry, there's one more, which is a brand, Marquez Almeida, who also dropped a piece into the environment. And again, it's just the idea that brands can join the environment and work right alongside individual creators. This is what I was going to show you. The piece that I'm going to show you is the first only ever digital cover of any Vogue magazine, of course, created for Vogue Singapore. This piece is called Renaissance Rising. It's a garment created by the Fabricant. We collaborated with an avatar creator, Siobhan Wong, and it's just a really stunning piece. And we're super proud of the collaboration.
Thanks, Michaela. I mean, it was such an honor to be working with Amber and your extensive team to create that. I mean, we did that for our September issue. It was the first Vogue NFT issue. And, you know, it sold out on OpenSea, and we're super proud of that. And the whole idea of what I love about digital fashion is the ability to do things that don't make sense in the real world. She's levitating. There is a sunrise coming out of her third chakra. She's a goddess. She looks amazing, which brings me quite neatly to Jake from Genies, because Genies is all about trying to find your authentic self and giving people the ability to express who they really are. Tell us what you're doing there at Genies, Jake.
Thanks, Norman. Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. We care about, you know, unlocking or empowering all humans around the world to be their authentic selves, and especially looking at Web3, what that looks like. So what's your virtual identity? What are you projecting out into the virtual space? How do you want people to see you? Who are you at the core? And I think when you look at, you know, the physical world, there are a lot of restrictions or decisions that are made outside of our control, or that are influenced by conditions that we don't really have control over. You know, originally we're born into a body that we have zero control over. And then when you look at fashion, and like some of the other amazing panelists here have touched on, there are limitations in the physical world around, you know, fabrics or things that you can create that are even feasible or plausible. And then, of course, the entire topic of, you know, sustainability around these items. And so you look at kind of what we wear are guided by a lot of these outside conditions, where you live, the culture that you're in, social norms around fashion based on the peers or your employer. So all of a sudden you kind of look at how we walk around every day. And, you know, the way we look at it is, sure, it might be a representation of you, but it isn't that truest version of you. At the core, there is a part of you, something that, you know, you can create further. So that's what we care about when it comes to virtual identity. The metaverse is allowing people to be that true and authentic version of themselves.
Jake, you mentioned Web 3.0. I mean, for those that are unfamiliar with that term, can you explain what is Web 3.0?
Yeah, you can think about it as just the next iteration of the internet that is predominantly built on blockchain. And then the main power, the main beauty of that is that it is a decentralized internet. And that's what blockchain provides. So, you know, I know we've touched on here individual creators and, you know, utility. These are huge drivers for Web3. It is a community created, community authenticated internet that every transaction is authenticated by the community and not by one centralized source or by major conglomerates like, you know, Google or Apple or Facebook, when you look at kind of the current state of Web 2.
A lot of people have been talking about it being more of a human internet. Is that a good way of describing it? It's a move away from centralization and monopolies and multi-profit centers.
I think that's a great way of looking at it. I think when we look at the original intentions of the internet, it was founded on bringing people together and allowing people to be themselves. And I think where you look at, you know, where things are now, and when you look at social media, there are a lot of issues, right? People have never been more connected, but anxiety, depression, mental health is at an all-time high. So I think when you look at Web3 and what it presents for humans is hopefully a safer place for people to connect and engage, and they have more control. So they are the ones building, they are the ones authenticating. The power is in the everyday individual's hands. And especially as applies to fashion, I know that's what we get excited about, is that opportunity is out there for every individual. As Michaela, I think you were talking about, individual creators out there being able to come onto your platform and create their own fashion, which in the physical world is something that you have to go to school for, and you have to get a crazy internship and grab coffee probably for someone for several years before you get to that process. And so I think being able to look at an example like that there's amazing utility and control that the everyday human has.
Fantastic. Talking about the blockchain naturally brings up the conversation of NFTs. And I know a few of us on this panel are starting NFT marketplaces. Jay, can you share a little bit about what you're doing in terms of wearables? I mean, wearables is such a huge, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Look at Fortnite and the skins that they're selling. Tell us about what you're doing in terms of wearables and this idea of bringing cultural tastemakers and icons. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so later this year, we will be releasing a marketplace that we announced with Dapper Labs. So Dapper Labs is the creator of NBA Top Shot. And when you kind of look at history, they are the original creators, and Roham, the CEO, is the original creator of what an NFT is. And so when we roll out that marketplace, we will be selling avatar wearables, meaning the different accessories and items that people can purchase to accessorize their own avatar. And like I touched on a little bit before, that is projecting something deeper about themselves. When they put it on their avatar, they care about what that storyline is of that asset, what it means, what it represents for them to be wearing it. And in terms of the type of wearables, what will be featured on that marketplace, what we care about is taking the power and the beauty of blockchain and bringing it to Gen Z, or that everyday individual. And so that really reflects the type of wearables or partners that we'll be bringing onto the marketplace. And we have a lot of cultural partners that have signed up. We've had an announcement with Warner Music Group to bring this across their roster of artists. Have several other announcements in the music space or across the sports space coming up. Have worked with thousands of celebrities and icons around the world for several years. So you can think about a lot of amazing individuals and stories that we want to bring to this community. But we're very specific and focused on bringing that to Gen Z, and not taking culture and bringing it to the crypto and blockchain community, which is a very niche community right now. It's very male dominated, 25 to 40-year-old men across the world, on an Ethereum blockchain. So we really care about taking that utility that blockchain provides and bringing it to Gen Z, bringing it to that everyday individual.
Right. And I know you're working with some, key cultural icons like Justin Bieber and Ferocious, and really excited to see what you guys have in store. Talking about inclusivity and the metaverse, obviously what you guys do with avatars is talking about that head on. But Caden, I know you've done so much research with Reverie AI, and you photographed over 60,000 different models, and you have a lot of data on skin tones and body shapes. How do you see what you do better informing the services that you provide when it comes to diversity?
Yeah, obviously in the physical world, it's the opposite of the virtual world, right? Where people have some identity predefined, like their skin tone, their ethnic group, their body shape. And they obviously want to wear fashion that match their own identity, that looks good with it, right? And they want to understand that hopefully before they even make a purchase, so they don't have to buy and return then buy again. So what we are doing is we are trying to enable this diversified and inclusive shopping experience by allowing shoppers to visualize the garments on first a model that looks like them, which obviously there's a lot of technology like difficulty here. And also another interesting thing is that even though a lot of the brands and retailers, they're talking about inclusivity, right? Like putting models of different ethnic group, body type, it is still not widely available yet. So what we are doing is that we are collecting our own data set of the first set, as Norman mentioned, would be like 60,000 of models wearing different garments with different models of a diverse body shape and ethnic group profile, and we're going to expand that. And the goal is to really, in the future, let's say a shopper comes to a platform that's very enabled, right? They can easily find a model that's representative of themselves before we can turn them into a model, which is our plan for the longer future.
And I know that what you have in the pipeline is it's not just about selecting particular avatars on screen, but just answering maybe 3 to 5 questions, and just based on the answers to those questions, be able to generate an avatar that's hopefully reflective of what they look like.
Exactly. That's why we are solving this problem using AI and generated image, is that if we could train a network using like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that have diverse profile, and we enable a certain amount of controllability, that let's say we input the body measurement of a person and their ethnic group and body shape profile, we can recreate someone with similar attributes. So we can empower users to really tell us what kind of person they are and how they would want to be presented in, and we can create a model that really reflects themselves.
Fantastic. Guys, we're talking about innovation today. And I wanted to ask everyone, when it comes to innovative thinking, how do you think innovation can be taught? And how do you choose your collaborators? How do you choose the people that you work with that are like-minded?
Well, I guess it's an open question, so I'll start here. When we were starting, there were a handful of people excited about this topic, and Michaela is the long-term partner here, and it's great to see how the space is evolving, and how more and more people and voices with a diverse expertise are entering the space. And I believe what's important here is to actually speak and show the progress, and that's how we all see the intersections and where we can collaborate on, because it's very important to kind of put a community effort together. We are just entering this space, and I think cultural and values, cultural aspect and values that we all have is super important. That's why so many people in digital fashion are kind of got together around sustainability aspect of it, or around like self-expression aspect of it. And this is very important to communicate your values and find people who are excited about it and have a level of the expertise to execute and to learn more and to discover more here.
Great. Eva, I wanted to ask you at MEC, what you naturally do with your kind of knitting technology is about finding partners, not just in the fashion world, but also automobiles and interior design and sneakers. How do you find your collaborators, and what is the biggest challenge when it comes to innovative thinking for you?
Yeah, good question. I think innovation is by far about, inclusion and diversity. So I think, first of all, I think it's just being open. I mean, just being listening, just being around, looking around, talking to people. I think your question, can innovation be taught? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe a bit more complex, but it's all about questioning, observing, experimenting, just being yourself and be open for, everybody around you. And I think that's also what we love so much about, within MAC, that working across industries brings new ideas, but also working, digital versus physical brings new ideas. So I think, today it's really about collaborating, partnering, reaching out to other skills, to other people, and giving everybody a chance as well, because I think that really brings something new and something innovative.
For sure. Michaela, with The Fabricant, you guys are, the proponents of digital couture. And there are some really big companies kind of entering the metaverse now, with Facebook, with Microsoft, Nike filing patents for virtual garments. Do you think it's a good or bad thing that these big companies are joining the metaverse?
I think we've, there are quite a few companies and we're all small innovators working in Web3 and trying to do things differently. We're just going to have to face the reality that every brand of every kind is going to end up in the metaverse. In terms of storytelling for digital fashion and how our digital identity can be in virtual worlds and what it means to express yourself without physicality, big companies entering the space do actually help tell the story to the wider public, which I think is a really important part of the story. So the Balenciagas, the Guccis of this world, it's actually been quite helpful for them to begin to iterate and experiment in our world, because it tells that story and it allows people, it enables people to be able to kind of begin with a sort of familiar place in a very unfamiliar world. The big part for me when we hear obviously big Web2 social media platforms coming into the metaverse space is to just ensure that we, I guess, maintain the idea of an open metaverse. So we don't end up with all these kind of brand walled gardens where your assets can only stay in one space and you can't wear your garment in a game and another virtual environment. I think it's super important to make sure that we all really promote that idea, because that is the big idea of the metaverse. And that would be my only question with maybe bigger players who are perhaps used to having the world their way, shall we say, that they might maybe influence towards a more walled garden kind of model of the metaverse.
Yeah, I think you really touch an interesting point that it has to be open and there will not be only one player who have the capacity. So we hope that the players who are more open will really attract the ecosystem, because it's not just about one company, right? So the open version will win.
For sure. Jake, I know you talk about alpha aliens when it comes to people that you really connect with, in terms of their authentic self, people that really go against the grain. What do you think the alpha aliens that you kind of connect with at Genies will think about these big companies entering the metaverse?
Yes, it's one of our internal terms in terms of individuals or partners that we like to work with. Alpha aliens, people or groups that are aliens amongst their peers, that are forward-leaning, that are hyper-expressive, and that align with our vision around self-expression. So that is definitely something that we talk about daily. And in terms of our thinking around the metaverse, is the idea is that the Justin Bieber, or as mentioned, the Gucci or the Balenciagas of the metaverse don't exist yet. And that opportunity is out there for everyone. It's there for someone like Justin or Balenciaga or Gucci to come off the platform that they have and build that level of IP and brand and presence in Web3. But that opportunity is also out there for an everyday 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 6-year-old individual that leans into this space, that builds, that expresses themselves, that engages. And that is how we look at in terms of identity, brand building, and especially as it applies to like the wearables or the fashion side of what we're doing.
Fantastic. I just want to bring it back again to, for most people that are watching, we're obviously in a virtual reality realm. Like this is very metaversey right now. You're watching us in this Grand Palais Ephemer through virtual reality. But in our everyday, we have our smartphones. And I know that DressX, Natalia, with augmented reality, that's the first kind of connection that most people have when it comes to fashion and tech. What are you most excited in that realm moving forward?
I actually want to back up the thought that Jake expressed about giving opportunity to the new generation to express themselves in the metaverse. And of course, everything that we all are building here is delivering that. But I also believe that we can already live our digital fashion lives today. And that's why we are very excited about all the possibilities that AR provides. And this is a visual language to show what can be done.
So cool.
And it's not only the hat that can be worn. We can go beyond and wear even like full body outfits, and I believe it will only expand, and it's a very, very early days of what's going on. And imagine having your outfits on a daily basis, when we communicate already online and or being exclusive through the NFTs. So there was an NFT drop with Vogue Singapore again and Balmain when the flame dress was created, and the owner of it can wear it in AR as well, and that's what can happen. And you can be anyone already today in a kind of metaverse that is emerging and in this digital world. So I believe we should also kind of not only express the ideas, but also show the vision of what's already available and show the vision of the future where we are moving in a visual way. I think it's very important to appeal to the everyone who is just wondering what metaverse is, how it's going to be building, because it's all still developing. But fashion is a visual language for sure.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, forget digital backgrounds. I want a DressX AR filter for my next Zoom call. Like, that's what I really want to be wearing. So those filters that you just showed us quickly, and obviously that dress on fire, I mean, why not, right? Are those available on DressX now, or is it something that's coming up in the future?
This is something that is coming up in the future with also NFT-enabled marketplace where you can purchase your digital asset and exclusively wear in AR.
Great. Mikhail, can you share a little bit about what is next for you as well when it comes to the Fabricant? What new projects can we look forward to?
It's all things go on the Fabricant Studio, actually. Our next season arrives early December, which means there'll be more co-creators, both individual digital fashion creators and brands, again, side by side, kind of on an equal footing within the studio. And it's going to be an environment, obviously, where not only people who are used to creating garments can participate, but we want, obviously, designers to be able to create digital fabrics. So there's opportunities for different kinds of creators to create digital trims, for example, digital prints, and really just begin to explore the essentially limitless creative possibilities of the digital fashion space. And it's such an exciting moment to be in, to really begin to enable creators and bring people into the space, and then just be able to, I guess, allow our audience to begin to imagine, how they could express themselves in the metaverse. So yeah, it's all hands to the pump right now, making that happen.
Wonderful. What about the rest of our panelists? What is new for you guys? Jake, I know you're about to have a beta launch of your NFT wearable marketplace. What can you share about that and other collaborations?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing on the roadmap right now that we're excited to get out is the marketplace, as I mentioned, with Dapper Labs. And so simultaneously, when consumers are able to get onto that marketplace, they'll get introduced to the avatar creator as well. So they can start to create their ideal selves. They can start to deck it out, whatever pieces that they collect along the way. And then there's some exciting aspects on the utility front where they can take that avatar, things that they can create using that avatar in their closet of wearables. So yeah, we're really excited to get that out.
I'm excited to see the future kind of trading and sale of avatars. Like if Justin Bieber created his avatar and kind of developed that in the next kind of few months, and my mind just kind of blows up in terms of what is possible when it comes to these celebrity avatars and what they create, and then on selling them. That's something that might be on the cards with Genies.
Yeah, the main thing for them, we obviously have a deep history of working with a lot of amazing individuals like Justin Bieber, artists and athletes and creators and influencers all over the world. And that aspect of taking that part of their identity or key moments from their life, we're transcending those into the wearables. So rather than you as a fan of Justin being able to take his avatar and use it around the metaverse, it's more taking a special moment, something that he cares about. Maybe it stems from a song or an album release or just a difficult part of his life. He can turn that into a wearable or a collection that then when someone on this marketplace purchases it, they're doing it from a deeper sense of engagement. It's not just you're a Justin Bieber fan in the physical world, but that you really resonate and support that message, what that wearable means, because then when you put it on your projection, what you walk around in Web3 with, it does kind of have that meaning or that significance to it. So we're really excited, obviously, about a lot of the amazing partnerships we have, a lot of the amazing individuals we work with, and helping them tell that story through this medium.
Great. Caden, what can you share about Reverie AI and your future plans?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the short-term plan is to enable the diverse body type and really appeal to the inclusivity, right? But we have a lot of long-term plans. For us, we are really trying to create the shopping experience where we tie the individual, their personal characteristic, along also with their digital closet, because obviously most of the people have a huge closet that's just been forgotten, right? And imagine a future where we could actually both have a digital profile of a shopper and the digital copy of their closet. There's a lot of stuff that we could do with it to both help people shop and also help people make use of whatever asset they've owned. So that's one. And the other interesting idea that we are also exploring is to allow designers test digital design before they even have to fabricate it, because we are enabled this dressing room where shoppers can visualize themselves with outfits, right? And imagine a future where our platform has a lot of engaged users, and when we start populating our catalog, we could populate it partially with new design that's not being out yet. And it would both serve as a way for shoppers to see if they like something, and also for the producers to test the market before they actually have to produce it, so they don't have to overproduce, which also helps the environment in a different way.
Fantastic. And I'll leave you with the last word, Eva. Any new exciting things you can tease us at MEC?
Yeah, so we're about to launch a new collection with Juventus Shanghai Academy. And what's really cool about it is really basically combining personalized needs and a cradle-to-cradle approach. So basically this collection is developed on a basically a knit by print. So basically with each pressing, each print, it's replacing a printer in a way. So it really kind of helps you to knit garments piece by piece in a very individual approach and really be engineered for them, but also actually build them out of a mono yarn. So we can really make a full cradle to cradle approach.
Fantastic. Thank you everyone so much for your time. I'm conscious that we are out of time for today's panel, but before you go, for everyone that is viewing in the Vogue Singapore VR room, you can actually wear the Vogue Singapore t-shirt on your avatar as you're walking around the CFS21 summit. So go check that out. But to everyone else, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you around in virtual reality. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for joining the panel talks. Feel free to visit the galleries, the Impact Design Hub, and the Innovation Hub.